Okay, well, you guys know the rules. Robots do the painting. You do the guessing. I give a few clues along the way. This first category, we're going to be counting down the 20 top world explorers. So here we go. He was born in Portugal, but led expeditions for Spain. His famous expedition began with 5 ships. The voyage included the first recorded crossing of the Pacific Ocean. He didn't survive the entire journey. He actually died in the Philippines. Hey, Stuart, what's up? Oh, just warning everybody, we had some weather coming in, so hopefully the Starlink will hold up. No, but hold on to that answer for later. His expedition completed the first circumnavigation of the globe. Who knows? Try another guess. Try another guess. Close. This is Ferdinand Magellan, of course, 1480 to 1521. Although he didn't live to see the end of the journey, Magellan's name is forever linked with exploration for opening up a western route to Asia. There you go. That was our first explorer. We're down to number 19. This gentleman was born in Venice, Italy, into a merchant's family. His travels lasted over 24 years. It took him to the court of Kublai Khan. He wrote a detailed account of his travels in the Travels of... I'm not going to tell you. His journey inspired future explorers, including Christopher Columbus. There you go. You got it, man. Oh, definitely. You got it. His journey inspired future explorers. He is one of the earliest Europeans to document life in China. There you go. And yes, you got it. This is indeed Marco Polo, 1254 to 1324. A nice old age. Let's see. Marco Polo's book became one of the most important travel chronicles of the Middle Ages. So there you go, Marco Polo. Very nice. Down to number 18. Changing gears a little bit here. He served as a eunuch admiral under the Ming Dynasty. His fleet of treasure ships was the largest in the world at the time. Who's this? His voyages took him as far as Africa and the Arabian Peninsula. Anybody know who this is? He helped to spread Chinese influence and established trade routes. I'll give you the dates, 1371 to 1433. Any guesses? He led 7 epic voyages across the Indian Ocean. I guess we don't know our Chinese explorers very well, do we? That's okay. We can catch us some slack. This is Zheng He. Zheng He. Zheng He's fleet was so advanced that some of his ships were 5 times larger than those of Christopher Columbus. Wow. There you go. Now, I bet you know this next guy. He started his career as a British Royal Navy captain. Hey, Stuart, did you have that last one? I just noticed that. Who's this? He was the first European to chart the eastern coastline of Australia. He made 3 major voyages to the Pacific Ocean. His maps were so accurate, they were used for over a century. Yeah, good job, Jan. You got it. He was killed in Hawaii during a skirmish with the locals. It is legend in Hawaii. That's right. This is Mr. James Cook, 1728 to 1779. James Cook's expeditions contributed greatly to the European knowledge of the Pacific. There he is, Captain Cook. I think the robots are doing well tonight. What do you guys think? Are the robots improved tonight? We get new improved robots. Did you know that? That's right. Everybody got that one. Okay, next up. This gentleman was the son of the famous Norse explorer Eric the Red. He sailed west from Greenland to explore new lands. His settlement, Vinland, is believed to have been in modern-day Newfoundland. Who knows who this is? He reached North America nearly 500 years before Columbus. There you go. Yeah, we got it. That's right, this is Leif Erikson. Way back, 970 to 1020. Leif Erikson's voyage is celebrated annually on October 9th in the United States as Leif Erikson Day. I didn't know that, actually. I'm going to celebrate every year. Yes, Leif Erikson. Of course. All right. Down to number 15. Keep it in a Scandinavian area. This gentleman was born in Norway, but much later, 1872, and inspired by polar exploration from a young age. He was part of the first expedition to navigate the Northwest Passage. He beat Robert Falcon Scott to become the first person to reach the South Pole. This is the guy. Yeah, Stuart. You know your explorers. Good job. He is the first person to have reached both poles. Cool. Yeah. I'm going to try to pronounce his first name here. Roald. Roald. R-O-A-L-D. Amundsen. 1872 to 1928. Amundsen's success was due to his careful planning, use of sled dogs, and knowledge of Inuit survival techniques. There you go. Amundsen. Next up is number 14. He was born in Portugal during the Age of Discovery, 1460. His journey was sponsored by King Manuel I of Portugal. He was the first European to reach India by sea. There you go. No, that's it. It kind of looks like Christopher Columbus, yes, but no. His route around Africa opened a vital trade route to Asia. His success cemented Portugal's role as a dominant maritime power. Yes, indeed, this is Vasco da Gama. Yes. There he is. Vasco da Gama. Doesn't really look like it. Not that we know. Let's see. The spices that Vasco da Gama brought back from India made him extremely wealthy. There you go. They'd do anything for that sugar and stuff. What was it? They needed something to take out the bad taste of the meat, right? Next up, number 13. He was born into a noble family in Spain. He initially came to the New World seeking fortune in the Caribbean, or Caribbean if you prefer. He led the expedition that overthrew the Aztec Empire. There's the key clue. His forces captured Tenochtitlan. Oh, how do you say that? Tenochtitlan. There you go. Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztec Empire. Correct. Although it is spelled with an S, I will say he is one of the most famous and controversial conquistadors. He was a mean, badass mofo. Doesn't really look like this. He's got doesn't look as tough without his helmet, right? Ferdinand Cortés. 1485-1547. Despite his conquest, Cortés was later stripped of his power by the Spanish crown. There you go. Down to number 12 in our countdown. He was an English sea captain and privateer. Seems like you guys all got that, Cortés. Good job. He completed the second circumnavigation of the globe. He was only the second person to make it all the way around. He was involved in the defeat of the Spanish Armada. I don't know if you remember that story. Good guess, Stuart, but incorrect. You should know this one. He was knighted by Queen Elizabeth I aboard his ship, the Golden Hind. Who had the Golden Hind? His raids on Spanish ports made him a hero in England, but a villain in Spain. No, not Hudson. Not Hudson. The Golden Hind. Second person to circumnavigate. Knighted. Who's got another guess? No? Well, this is Sir Francis Drake, of course. Sir Francis Drake was known to the Spanish as El Dragon. The Dragon. Yes, he had his own name. Yeah, the pirates didn't like Sir Francis Drake. But here we go. He was an English explorer known for his Arctic expedition. So now that your previous answer may be correct, maybe you just knew this one was coming up. He searched for the Northwest Passage to Asia. He discovered the river later named after him, the blank river. His crew mutinied and set him adrift in a small boat. There you go. Yes. Just keep answering that. He explored parts of the modern-day Canada and the northeastern U.S. Yes, indeed. This is Mr. Henry Hudson, 1565 to 1611. Hudson Bay, Hudson Strait, and Hudson River are all named after him. Henry Hudson. There he is. Very good. Okay, we're down to number 10. 10 more. 10 more explorers. Top 10. Coming up. He was born in Florence, Italy, and worked for the Medici family, or Medici family if you prefer. He made multiple voyages to the New World on behalf of Spain and Portugal. He was one of the first to suggest that lands discovered by Columbus were part of a new continent. Who's the first guy to suggest that? His letters describing the New World were widely read in Europe. Who is this? Who did those things? The Americas were named after him. There you go. Who is it? Anybody know this guy's name? The Americans were named after him. I'm sure you got this. Yes. It is Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo Vespucci, 1454 to 1512. His keen observations and maps helped shape European understanding of the Western Hemisphere. All right, you'll know this next name too. Here we go. He was a Spanish explorer who sailed with Christopher Columbus on his second voyage. I didn't know that part. He became the first governor of Puerto Rico. He led the first European expedition to Florida. Who knows this? Who knows this one? He is famous for his quest for the mythical Fountain of Youth. Yes, he is. He named Florida, meaning land of flowers. Who knows who this is? Who? Pedro Nino. No, the Fountain of Youth guy. You guys know. Juan Ponce de Leon. Ponce de Leon, of course, 1474 to 1521. Although we never found the Fountain of Youth, Ponce de Leon's expeditions paved the way for future settlement of the region. There you go. Next up, another Englishman. Or actually, he was Scottish. He was a Scottish missionary and explorer of Africa. He sought to find the source of the Nile River. I remember, I can't remember whether I listened to a book on tape or watched a video of this a lot when I was growing up. But it captured, I was very interested in it. It captured my imagination. He was the first European to see the Victoria Falls. Yes. Dr. Livingston, I presume. He became famous for his phrase, I preceded my clue. Dr. Livingston, I presume, when found by a journalist. Henry Morton Stanley. There you go. Everybody remember his first name? What's Mr. Livingston's first name? He worked tirelessly to end the East African slave trade. I don't know if you knew that. This, of course, is David Livingstone, or Dr. Livingstone, 1813 to 1873. Livingstone's reports and writings helped open Africa to further exploration and missionary work. Okay, next up, our first duo. They were American explorers who led the Corps of Discovery expedition. They were commissioned by President Thomas Jefferson. They explored the western United States after the Louisiana Purchase. I'm sure you guys know who this is. They were guided by Sacagawea. Sacagawea. At least that's the way I pronounce it. A Shoshone woman. A Shoshone woman. Their expeditions reached the Pacific Ocean. Yes, Luigi and Clark. Correct. Luigi. I think he's in jail now, isn't he, Luigi? Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark. The Lewis and Clark expedition provided detailed maps and valuable knowledge about the region's geography, flora, and fauna. There they are. Susan, what's up? Lewis and Clark, of course. Okay, we're down to number 6. Famous explorers. He was a Portuguese explorer during the Age of Discovery. He was the first European to sail around the southern tip of Africa. The first one. His voyage opened up the sea route to Asia or Portugal. This must have been before da Gama. He named the southern tip of Africa the Cape of Storms, later renamed the Cape of Good Hope. Who remembers who did this? Anybody know? I like Luigi and Clark better. So we're going to go with that. Good job, Stuart. Although according to my robots, it is spelled with an S instead of a Z. That's unusual. Bartholomew Diaz. Bartholomew Diaz. 1450 to 1500. Diaz's voyage helped establish Portugal's dominance in spite of trade with Asia. In the spice trade, excuse me. Sounds like he was right before da Gama. Next up, number 5. He was born in Genoa, Italy, and later he moved to England. He sailed under the English flag and was commissioned by King Henry VII. Born in Italy, but I guess he must have had a British mother or father or something. He explored the North American coast in 1497. Interesting. He believed he had found a new route to Asia. He is credited with the discovery of parts of modern-day Canada. Now, who remembers who this is? Englishman born in Genoa, Italy, sailed around North America, before Hudson, before those guys. This is earlier, born 1450, passed in 1499, so a contemporary of Columbus, really. Anybody remember? This is Mr. John Cabot. Yeah, there you go, Stuart, you got it. Cabot's successful voyage laid the groundwork for later English claims in North America. There you go. Oh, man. I thought this guy was English, but I guess he's New Zealand. He was born in New Zealand. He served as a navigator in the Royal New Zealand Air Force during World War II. And here's the key clue. He climbed many of the tallest peaks in the Himalayas. Who's this dude? He reached the summit of Mount Everest in 1953. Who knows? Anybody remember who this is? He was the first confirmed climber to reach the summit of Mount Everest with Tenzing Norgay. Must have been his helper or his partner. Excuse me. Partner. Emery is not correct. Who was the first guy to do nodding? Yeah, Sherpa Tenzing. But Sir Edmund Hillary, of course, Sir Edmund Hillary. After his famous ascent, Hillary devoted much of his life to humanitarian work in Nepal. There you go. Okay, we're down to the top 3 explorers of all time. He was a Moroccan explorer and scholar. He began his travels with a pilgrimage to Mecca. He traveled through Africa, the Middle East, Central Asia, and China, all the way back in 1304 to 1369. His journeys lasted over 30 years and covered about 75,000 miles. This guy got around. So who's the guy that got around in the new Islamic or Muslim caliphate? I don't know what you call it. Muslim world. His travel accounts were compiled in the Rhine, a famous work of world travel literature. Everybody remember who this is? Famous explorer, number 3 on the list. Ibn Battuta. Yeah, there you go, Susan. Battuta. Stuart, you got it. Ibn Battuta. Battuta's travels provided a detailed account of life in the 14th century across many different cultures. All right, number 2. He was an Anglo-Irish explorer known for his Antarctic expeditions. He joined Robert Falcon Scott's Discovery Expedition. His ship, Endurance, was trapped and crushed by the ice. Scary fate. He led a miraculous rescue mission across hundreds of miles of ice and sea. Anybody remember this story? His leadership skills during extreme adversity made him a legendary explorer. So I guess this guy's story of the rescue is the most important part of his history. Well, what's going on? Tom Cran, no. This is Ernest Shackleton. Ernest Shackleton, 1874 to 1922. Despite failing to reach the South Pole, Shackleton's story of survival is one of the greatest feats of endurance in exploration history. Hence, the robots put him in that spot. Now, number 1 is no joke, but the robots did an interesting picture of him. He was born in Genoa, Italy. He believed he could reach Asia by sailing westward across the Atlantic Ocean. He made 4 voyages to the New World. I like this picture. The robots have gone out of the way. Yes, but now it is. It is. The robots have really done an interesting picture of him. He is credited with opening up the Americas to European exploration. And yes, indeed, this is Mr. Christopher Columbus. 1451 to 1506. Although Columbus never realized he had discovered a new continent, his voyages changed the course of history and led to the European colonization of the Americas. At least Columbus still has the number 1 spot. Even though he really wasn't the first, that was Lee Bergson. And then the other guy got the name Amerigo Vespucci. Oh well. Anyway, okay, well you guys did pretty good at those explorers. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right.